Nvidia made one of the biggest announcements in its history. But it was not a new chip. It was not a faster GPU. It was a $500 billion of financing. Nvidia is working with some of the powerful financial firms on Wall Street, BlackRock, Apollo, Goldman Sachs, to build a financing platform capable of mobilizing more than $500 billion for AI infrastructure. Which raises a strange question. Why does the world's most valuable chip company suddenly need a Wall Street? Nvidia already has the chips. Silicon Valley desperately wants them. Demand is not the problem, money is. Building the next generation of AI infrastructure now requires tens of billions of dollars before a single customer ever sends a prompt. And eventually, even the richest technology company hit a limit on how much infrastructure they want sitting on their own balance sheet. So Nvidia and Wall Street are trying something much bigger. Instead of treating AI server like a computer you simply buy, they are starting to finance compute like infrastructure. And if that works, Nvidia won't just have created the chips powering the AI boom, it may help create the financial system that pays for them. For decades, Wall Street has financed massive physical infrastructure, factories, power plants, commercial real estate. These are productive assets that generate steady cash flow over decades. But a computer server? To a bank, that was just an IT expense, a depreciating box that lost value the moment it left the warehouse. That mindset just hit a dead end. Nvidia and Wall Street are now arguing that a massive GPU cluster is not just a hardware, it's a productive financial asset. Think about it, a data center produces compute power that customers rent by hour. That revenue stream is predictable. Jensen Huang is making a massive point. Compute has evolved. It behaves less like a laptop and more like a city power grid. They are funding computer chips the exact same way they are funding skyscrapers. And if you can turn a microchip into an asset that pays rent for years, Wall Street will buy as many as you can build. But you might be asking a very obvious question. Microsoft, Meta, and Google have hundreds of billions in cash. Why would they ever need Wall Street to help buy their servers? Because AI just broke the scale of tech industry. Building a traditional data center was expensive, but building the next generation of AI computers requires money on a level Silicon Valley has ever seen before. Even a $1 trillion company eventually hits a limit on how many physical buildings it wants to own. So they are borrowing a playbook from heavy industry. Instead of tech company paying for every single server upfront, they let outside investors buy the hardware. And here is how the basic version of this looks. Wall Street pulls its money together. They use that money to buy the server and the networking gear. Tech companies then sign long-term contracts to rent the processing power, and those rent money flow right back to Wall Street. And Nvidia does not have to become a bank. They get something much more valuable, a massive new pipeline of Wall Street money ready to buy their chips. The customer gets the compute, Wall Street gets a profitable asset, Nvidia gets another buyer. It sounds almost perfect, except the entire mechanism depends on one assumption, that compute will keep generating enough money to pay everyone back. So what exactly is Wall Street betting on? When the bank finances a toll bridge, they know the bridge will be there in 50 years, and they know cars will pay to cross it. The collateral is safe. But Wall Street is now underwriting multi-billion-dollar loan backed by tech hardware. To make this math work, the investor needs three things to happen perfectly. First, utilization. The data center has to run constantly. Second, credit. The tech companies renting the compute cannot go bankrupt. And third, pricing. The cost of compute has to stay high enough to service the massive debt. And this is where the system gets fragile. Unlike the steel bridge, a GPU cluster advances at a terrifying speed. What happens when the next generation of chip drops? Does the older hardware immediately lose its rental value? What if the compute price fall, or the AI demand cool off, or highly leveraged startups struggle to pay their rent? The cash flow stops, and Wall Street is left holding the debt on thousands of aging servers. But Nvidia and bank think they have very calculative response to this fear. They are protecting the debt with long-term take-or-pay contract from highly creditworthy customers. They make massive tech companies sign rental agreements, and by the time those computer chips finally get old and lose their value, the monthly rent checks have already paid off the entire Wall Street loan. And compute is so scarce that older hardware often maintain its rental pricing. And because of Nvidia's software ecosystem, older chips can easily be repurposed for a new task. Wall Street is betting that AI boom is not a bubble, it's a permanent utility. So if Wall Street believes the AI boom is a permanent utility, they will keep pouring money into these financing vehicles. And that creates a problem for every other chip maker on earth. For years, Nvidia has protected its empire with two invisible walls, the hardware mode and the software mode. But today, we are watching the ultimate layer form in real time, the financial mode. If Nvidia helps establish a standardized, highly profitable financial market, especially around their servers, then buying Nvidia becomes the easiest, safest asset for all Wall Street to finance. If a competitor wants to beat Nvidia tomorrow, they don't just have to build a faster chip. They don't just have to convince the developer to rewrite their code. They have to convince Wall Street to rewrite their multi-billion-dollar financial templates. So, Nvidia is not just building the hardware for AI boom anymore. They are building the financial system that pays for it.